The Seljuk Empire was a medieval Turco-Persian Muslim empire founded by Tural Bey in 1037. In the subsequent decades, they carved an empire that stretched from River Tigris in Iraq to the Oxus River in Uzbekistan. Suddenly the Seljuks were elevated from nomadic raiders to masters of a vast and sophisticated empire. After the death of Tural Bey, Alp Arslan ascended the throne on April 27, 1064, as Sultan of the Great Seljuk. His actual name was Muhammad bin Dawood and came to be known as Alp Arslan, which means courageous lion. The new sultan was immediately faced with internal opposition. His father's cousin, Qutulmish, carried Khorasan into revolt in 1064, which ended in failure. His own brother, covert leader of the Kerman dynasty, rebelled twice, in 1064 and 1067, and decisively beaten both times. Alp Arsalan's first major move was a raid in 1064 into Georgia and Armenia, during which the Georgian king acknowledged Seljuk authority. Sultan Alp Arslan regarded the Fatimid Caliphate of Egypt as his main enemy. He had no desire to engage the neighboring Byzantines in unnecessary hostilities, and as such, in the same year of 1069, he entered into a peace treaty where both sides were committed in preventing raids in each other's territory. Having made peace with the Byzantines, the Seljuks intended to attack Egypt. While making preparations in Aleppo, he learnt a giant Byzantine army heading to Seljuk territory. Alarmed by the news, he gathered the men he had with him, which numbered around 20,000, and they marched on to meet the enemy. The two armies met at Lake Van in eastern Turkey. This would be the famous Battle of Manzikert in 1072. The Byzantine forces number 40,000 troops and the Seljuks numbered around 20,000 troops. Sultan Alp Arslan led all his men in prayer. He then addressed his men and said, "We are with a depleted force. Either I will achieve the goal or I will go as a martyr to paradise. If I die, then know that my son, Malikshah, is to be my heir. Whosoever wishes to depart, let him depart, for there is no sultan to command and forbid today, for I too am a Ghazi, warrior with you." The Byzantine were resoundingly defeated, and even the emperor of the Byzantines, Romanus himself, was captured. When Romanus was taken to Sultan Alp Arslan, the following conversation is said to have then taken place. Alp Arslan: "What would you do if I was brought before you as a prisoner?" Romanus: "Perhaps I'd kill you, or exhibit you in the streets of Constantinople." Alp Arslan: "My punishment is far heavier. I forgive you, and set you free." A ransom of 1,500,000 gold coins was agreed and Romanos was returned to Constantinople. As for Sultan Alp Arslan, just under a year after the momentous battle, the Sultan set out for Karakhanid frontier to subdue its tyrant ruler, Yusuf al-Khwarizmi. When he was brought to be executed, he suddenly attacked Alp Arslan with his dagger. The Sultan was seriously wounded and died after a few hours on November 25, 1072, at the young age of 44. He was buried at Merv next to his father Cagri Bey. He was succeeded by his 17-year-old son Malikshah. Alp Arslan was a courageous man, generous in his treatment of opponents. His strength lay in the military realm, domestic affairs being handled by his Persian vizier, Nizam Al-Mulk. This allowed the Seljuk Empire to flourish. Please watch my previous video on the life of Nizam Al-Mulk, the great administrator of the Seljuk Empire.